This artist used meta ads to promote his first release on Spotify and absolutely crushed it. Today's video is going to be an inspiring example for all of you guys who are curious about jumping into meta ads but don't know where to start, or to convert some of the skeptics who are still chasing empty streams from big playlisting services. So let me show you how we did it. What's up everyone? My name is Kyle and I am the founder of Kyle the Ally. We're a new type of digital marketing service that helps rising musicians and indie record labels get their music heard using marketing tools such as meta ads. Today's video is an awesome example of how I got to put all of the things I talk about on this channel into action. The artist that we are talking about today is called Dcr Milda. He is a 25-year-old rising DJ who's currently based in the great city of Toronto. I would describe his music as progressive house or EDM. Milda has been DJing for a while now, but he just recently started his career in releasing original music with his very first original release, a song called Put Down Your Weapon, and that came out earlier this year in June. Milda and his management trusted me and my team to use meta ads to promote his very first release. And I'm proud to say that as of the recording of this video, October 4th, this song has 173,000 streams after about 3 months of being out. In addition, Milda himself has about 30,000 monthly listeners and about 1,600 followers. Milda and his management were very gracious to grant me the permission to share the details of the campaign that we ran for them with you guys. I've got the Meta Ads Manager open and we'll start our story here. In this particular example, we actually ran the ads through my own agency account, which I run for Kyle the Ally. This song came out on June 27th, 2024, but the actual ads we started a little bit after release on July 5th. In most cases, I prefer to synchronize the start of the ads with the actual release date, but in this particular case, the management came to us a little bit after their release, and we put something together basically as quickly as possible so we can jump off of the momentum of this being a new release. The total ad spend for this project was about $2,300 US, which we spaced out over about 2 months. Campaign started on July 5th, and it ran to August 22nd or 23rd, I believe. When you jump on a release when it's still relatively new, even if it's within a 1-week window of the song going live, you really have a lot more opportunities for the song getting picked up algorithmically, which we definitely saw with this song, and I'll show you more of that when I go over the Spotify data. Over the course of those 2 months, we got about 8,400 conversions at an average cost per conversion of 27 cents US, which is a really awesome result. I know I talk about cost per conversion. This is really the most convenient metric that we have to compare across different projects. And I know since the whole iOS 14 rollout back in 2021, there's a lot of skepticism about whether you can actually run a successful campaign post iOS 14. This is a shining example of, yes, you can get performance similar to what we had before this post iOS 14, more lockdown privacy settings world. Those 8,400 conversion events were the Hyped It Smart Link click conversion, and we use a Hyped It landing page to host the meta pixel so we could do the data tracking for this conversion campaign. In my other videos, I talk about how I prefer using Hyped It for all of my conversion campaigns. I also talk about the importance of a conversion campaign. On this page here, I'm also showing the list of ad sets that we ran. So we started off with 7 ad sets initially, which were broken up by music interests that were related to the song. So you could see the examples like Tiesto, house music as a wide genre, Martin Garrix, Oliver Heldens, Kashmir, Sophie Tucker's were all ideas that I brainstormed with the management that we thought were related to the music and would have fans that would also like the new song that we were promoting. All of these ad sets basically promoted their ads to the same basket of countries. So I use what I call a global-ish list of countries that includes some of the more expensive but higher value countries alongside some of the cheaper, better bang for your buck countries. The point of this list that I use is to give you a diversified set of countries that gives you a good balance of high value and bang for your buck. All of these ads were run on Instagram only placements because lately that's where I've been seeing the best engagement. So I'll crack open one of these ad sets to show you the ad creatives that we ran. I really feel like the ad creative is the most important single part of a campaign. For this campaign in particular, I think we had the song's music video, we had some live performance video from the artist himself, we had some animation from the album artwork, and we even had some like TikTok style content, including some memes. We actually tried like a Hawk Tuah edit, which didn't end up performing super duper well in the grand scheme of things, but we tried it out. One thing I stress when it comes to thinking of ad creatives is just to be creative and inventive outside of the box. The visual is how you make the first impression. You want to make sure that whatever you add for the video is going to make somebody stop scrolling through Instagram and pay attention to what you're trying to show them. We started off with 10 different ad clips to support the song. Over the lifetime of this campaign, it was actually 2 clips which were live performance videos of the artist which performed the best. The first one was this DJ clip 2. And the second one that performed really well, we called this clip Drop 2 in the back end, another live performance video of the artist performing his song. But the key here is that the clips are well produced, they're well composed. All of the things that I preach about were true of this project, and I think it's a big part of this campaign's success. 1 week after we rolled out that initial set of 10 clips and 7 audiences, we then tried a wave 2 of video content to support the campaign. You see that in this ad set that's called Tiesto Wave 2. So I'll click that open. So we added 6 additional ads to promote the song alongside the 10 that we had already been trying and testing. It actually turned out that none of these performed as well as the original set of videos that we put out there. Meta didn't end up putting a lot of juice behind these videos. We ended up sticking with the original 10 videos that we had. But the lesson in this reinforces really what I'm always saying about always test things. You can't necessarily predict what the #1 best performing ad creative will be, but if you've got a whole bunch of options to try, there's no reason you can't try them in parallel, collect data on how things are doing, and refine your choices from there. This campaign was a really unique opportunity to put all of the things that I talk about on this YouTube channel into action for a client. If you're interested in learning more about how you can work with me and my team to promote your music release, go check out our website on kyletheally.com and send us a message through the Contact Me form on my website. If working together sounds like a good fit, I'll reach out to you with next steps. Alternatively, you could also book a 1-hour consultation if you're looking for quick help on a specific campaign that you're already running and want to get up to speed with what my latest best practices are. Let's flip over to Spotify for Artists to talk about the results of this campaign. The real thing that we care about is getting listeners, streams, saves, and high quality engagement on the song. In Spotify for Artists, we can see that this song was released on June 27th, and as of the recording of this video, today is October 6th, this song has gotten 173,000 streams over the 3 months or so that it's been out. Let me zoom out to the last 12 months window so we can see the lifetime performance. Spotify for Artists is not really that good at letting you pick specific time windows, so bear with me, we'll just look at the lifetime over the last 12 months. Since release in the end of June, we have 173,000 streams, 63,000 listeners, an average of 2.7 streams per listener, which is an awesome indicator of engagement because people aren't just listening to this song once and forgetting about it. They're listening to it again and again and again because they've saved it to their library, they've added it to their own personal playlist. We can see that here. So 8,000 or so playlist ads, most of which are personal playlists from Spotify users, normal people like you and me, and 7,400 saves on this song. The saves in particular had like a really big spike in the last week or so. I don't know exactly what that is. If you kind of look at the very appreciable number of saves that we got throughout the running of this campaign, you can kind of see a start and finish of the campaign. So obviously you got a really big boost when this came out first, and then the next day where things kick up is slightly after July 5th when the campaign started. You actually see the saves tick up quite a bit and then stay at a healthy rate, and then they drop again when the campaign ends on August 23rd. This is a case where the campaign was driving really high engagement listeners who were saving the song, and when the campaign stops, you can see actually that that traction is most obvious in the saves. It's refreshing to know that their results have not dropped down to zero since the campaign ended over a month ago, and that is because a lot of the hard work that we did at the beginning when this song was fresh has now triggered the Spotify algorithm. And we can see that when we go over to the source of streams tab. This shows you the source of streams over the last 28 days. There's no way to stretch out this time window, so we're literally just looking at the last month, which is after the campaign has ended for a little bit. You can see that the largest fraction of the listeners are coming from Spotify algorithmic playlists. That's 43%. And so now, even after the ads have been done for, a couple months, a month or so now, we still have new listeners being introduced through Dcr Weekly and Spotify Radio. And the first two columns still make up a very sizable amount. So 17% is your profile and catalog. That is people who are introduced directly to the song, whether it's from our meta ad directly or somebody who came from Milda's Instagram and clicked a link in his bio. That has shrunk to a smaller percentage now as the ads have kind of faded into the past. And 34%, so the second largest category, is listeners' own playlist and library. This is user playlist. That's not like the big kind of corporate commercial playlist that you see kind of curated by these playlist producers. This is regular people like you and me who found the song presumably through our ad, saved it to their library in one of their playlists, and now are listening again and again. We look at the locations where this song was successful. The top 5 countries where the song got traction, particularly in the last 28 days, are US, Canada, Germany, United Kingdom, and Mexico. So all of North America here is represented, which is great because Milda is Toronto-based as of right now. And then we can go to the playlist section to see where the retained streams are coming from. So this song, if I could actually zoom out to the lifetime stats, we can see this song is on 2,888 playlists in total, which sounds outrageous. I know that kind of sounds like a made up number, but you can see at the very top, he's gotten the most amount of streams from Spotify Radio, 37,000 to be exact. That is something that now that you've triggered it is going to keep working for you even after the campaign has been done now for a month. It seems like radio is kind of the unsung hero of the whole Spotify algorithmic kind of trilogy. Not a lot of people talk about radio because it doesn't sound as sexy as Dcr Weekly, but the reality is that I see most releases getting the most traction on radio. And radio is the streams that you get when somebody listens to your song or an album and Spotify starts auto-playing stuff after it, or if you find a song that you like and you click Spotify Radio and it suggests a whole bunch of related music for you to also listen to alongside that song. In second place, we've got Dcr Weekly, which has gotten him 20,000 streams. And then we have Smart Shuffle, which is another kind of newer Spotify algorithmic placement. We have Fresh Finds, which looks like it's a Spotify curated playlist. Let's check that out. 3,000 streams is nothing to sneeze at, but it is a smaller fraction compared to the algorithmic stuff. After these handful of algorithmic and editorial playlists, we really have the rest of the Spotify playlist iceberg, which is all of the user playlists that he's been added to after people have been introduced through the ads and saved it to their library. And he's gotten tons of little bits and pieces of streams from each of these playlists, but the majority of those 2,800 some odd playlists he's on are user playlists. The important thing is these are humans, so they're consuming the music, they're engaging with it, and they're likely to follow Milda for the rest of his musical journey while he continues publishing more music after his first release. That is why I believe in the power of this type of meta advertising over something like a playlist. Is because the retained value of a listener that you get from an ad is so much higher, and that's why, to bring it all together, we're not seeing his streams and listeners and saves drop to zero even after the campaign's been done for a month. I think this is a really great example of putting everything I preach about on this YouTube channel into practice. Things like make sure you've got a good range of visually appealing ad creative. Think about the audiences who are going to enjoy your song the most. Make sure that you're testing different variations of your ads and looking at the data and refining your selections as you go. All of these things that I talk about on the channel, I was able to put in motion for this client, and I think that's a big contributor to why this project was such a success. And I hope sharing this example with you guys is inspiring or motivating in some way. Big thanks again to Milda and his management for letting me share this example. This was definitely on the higher budget end of first-time projects and things that I've worked with. And I understand that not every independent musician or somebody running ads for the first time necessarily has a budget of this size. But that's not to get discouraged, because I've seen plenty of artists with more modest budgets also find success using this type of strategy. Obviously, to some extent, the results that you can expect from your promotion will scale with the amount of budget that you have to put behind it, but that's not to say that you can't have awesome success even with a modest budget. Thank you so much for joining me on this walkthrough. I hope you guys learned something. Join me in the next video here on this channel. Later.